Hey guys, this is Matthias. I'm a composer and producer, and today we're gonna be talking about something extremely interesting. Now, I'm sure some of you have already heard about Note Performer. It's basically a plugin for your notation software. It works with Sibelius, Finale, and Dorico, and it helps you bringing your music, your orchestral music, to life. Now, I've seen people using it, and they've mostly been using it as some kind of gag, as some kind of gimmick, but it's also a very, very powerful tool that can help you save a lot of time with your orchestral productions. And I'm going to show you how it works. So yeah, let's dive right into it. For this tutorial, I composed this little piece here. It's about 50 seconds, and it starts with very sparse instrumentation, only very few instruments, and ends in a very lush fortissimo tutti chord, so that you can see the whole bandwidth of the Synchron Prime library and Note Performer. Before we get started, it's important to say that the Note Performer plugin for your notation software and the Note Performer playback engines right here are two different things, so you have to purchase them separately. The Note Performer plugin for Sibelius is basically the engine room behind everything. It also comes with some very rudimentary samples. And the playback engines is where you load your sample libraries. Now, the Vienna Symphonic Library comes with three different libraries. Today we'll be looking at the Synchron Prime Edition, which is a very neat library in my opinion. So after purchasing the Synchron Prime library, you can just click on it, and then you just click on Add Instruments. Now you can just select every instrument you want to have, or you can select multiple and choose an instrument group, or you can just select all. You can also adjust the microphone arrangement. If you want a cleaner studio sound, you can choose the close main option. I will just go with the main option though, because I think they did a pretty good job already. And I will click Add Selected. Now, after a short loading screen, we're here in this view, where you can select the number of staves from 1 to 6. You can again adjust the microphone arrangement for only this instrument, for the instrument family, or for all instruments. And you can also choose the library you're using. For example, the Synchron Prime Edition also comes with the Synchron Prime Elite strings. This means that if I don't want to use the normal Synchron Prime violins, I can choose the Synchron Prime Elite violins instead and create a mix of all the different libraries I own within one single Note Performer session. There are also some extra settings, like for example, reverb time and hall noise. I usually turn them off because I want to adjust that on my own in my DAW. And once you have all the configurations you want, you can start exporting the stems. Now, as you can see, Note Performer comes with an option to export stems. However, I prefer to do it not in Note Performer, but in Sibelius directly. This is a bit clumsier because you have to do every instrument individually, but it gives you a lot more flexibility. It takes only a couple of minutes, so it's not that big a deal in my opinion. And what I do is I select an instrument, then I go to File, Export, Audio, I select bit depth and sample rate. I usually go with 2448 there, and I select a folder. I created a folder for this piece and another folder labeled stems. And the last thing I have to do is to name the file. And for this, I recommend you creating a file naming system where the order of the stems corresponds to the order of the instruments in the score. So when you drag it into your DAW, you don't have to move anything around. Everything is in the right order. So with this file, I just choose FF as an abbreviation for the title, and I add 01 piccolo so that the instrument and the position in the score are clear. The flute would be 02 flute, oboe would be 03 oboe, and so on and so on. So the last thing is to hit export, and that's it. Now you have to repeat that with every instrument. I know again this is a bit clumsy, but in the end I think it's worth it. So after exporting all the stems, this is what my stem folder looks like. We have all the instruments there in the right order. I also exported the Sibelius score as a MIDI file, and I already imported this into my Pro Tools session so that we have the tempo, and it's also important to add one extra bar before the beginning of the tempo, because the stems don't start exactly at 0-0, they start a few beats before that. And in order to sync the beginning of the stems with the beginning of the tempo map, you want to have some extra room before the beginning. So why do you need a tempo map anyway? Well, working with Note Performer is basically like having a live recording. Usually stuff doesn't always go as planned, and you usually have to do some minor tweaking. Also, Note Performer is great with anything that is big and soundscapey and has this orchestral sound, but it's not really good with solos, especially piano and harp. So if you have solos in your orchestral piece, you might want to play that on your MIDI keyboard or to use a live recording in case you have the budget instead of the material Note Performer came up with. So next you just select all of your stems and drag them into your DAW, and then we're almost done. As I said, we will have to sync the beginning of the stems with the beginning of the tempo map so that it fits, because I'm pretty sure there will be some tweaking necessary, but I suggest we will just have a short listen to it, because yeah, we haven't listened to it once, and it might be interesting to hear what it sounds like without any correction. So yeah, this sounds quite decent already, but I think there are some minor corrections necessary. I will do that now, and I will do a little mix, and I will show you the result a little later. But before we listen to the final mix, I think it might be interesting to have a direct comparison between the built-in Note Performer playback and the VSL Synchron Prime we've just listened to, so that you can really see the difference and how powerful Note Performer is when using a decent sample library. For this purpose, I closed the Note Performer playback engines so that we're here now with the normal Note Performer playback. Here we go. So as you can hear, the Synchron Prime playback is obviously much better because, of course, the samples have a much greater quality and they blend perfectly with each other, and it just sounds much more like a real orchestra playing here. Let's go back to Pro Tools now. So this is what the session looks like now. I didn't change too much, actually. The biggest change is that I cut out whatever Note Performer came up with here, and I replaced it with a trombone solo that I played on my MIDI keyboard. I also added a cymbal clash in the middle of the piece at the climax, and I did some minor automatations. For example, here where I corrected some awkward thing that Note Performer came up with the violins, and also I thought that the brass was a bit too brassy at the beginning, which I corrected using some very, very minor equalizing. All in all, together with the composition process and the mixing I did, this took me like about 1.5 hours to complete, which is pretty fast if you ask me. So yeah, Note Performer is also pretty useful when there is a deadline around the corner. So yeah, I suggest let's have a listen and compare it to the original version. So yeah, that's it. I hope I could give you some insight into Node Performer and into my workflow in general. It's a very, very powerful tool when you know how to apply it, and it definitely saved me a lot of time. I mean, it did this in less than 2 hours in total. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and also don't forget to check out the Synchron Prime library. It's really great, especially for beginners. And also make sure to check out the other videos on the Vienna Symphonic Library YouTube channel. They're doing a lot of great stuff there. Really interesting to watch. All that being said, I hope you liked the video. I hope you enjoyed the music. Have a great day. Have fun checking out Node Performer and the Synchron Prime library, and see you next time.